What is up, guys? Here and also your boy Kagi back at it again with a new video. And in this video I bring you Jack from Epics. They're building the enemy metal game that I just released a video of. If you guys want to check it out, it should pop up on the top right of this video. They're building on the Flow blockchain, and we're gonna find out everything they have to offer and what is their long-term plan with this game. I think it's a fun game. That's why I picked it up for my channel. I think it's a very, like, it looks like one of those games that you would be addicted to and you would want to beat like every single map. And I'm interested in that. I'm not just interested in this, make money all the time. I want to have fun too. It's a mixture of things. So that's why I picked it up, and now we're gonna interview Jack, the person behind this game. And here we go. Welcome, and thank you for doing this interview. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and thanks for your original video. It was awesome. Great to be here.
Yeah, a very simple video, but I do what I can with what I got. So let me ask you, so how did this project start? And secondly, or firstly, honestly, where do you guys come from? Like, what's your background before anything? Like, how does this start? Why?
100%. Well, my background is actually in animation. I used to work in a media house, so we did character animation for commercials and stuff like that. And it's always been a lifelong dream of mine to make a game. And the idea for Enemy Metal came around a long time ago. It was actually 13 years ago. We originally had the idea. And it's just always, sort of sat in the back of my mind. And I guess about 6 or 7 years ago, I registered the domain, and it's always just sat there. I experimented a bit, and as a hobby, and then it all kind of clicked together about 3 years ago. I met some of the devs at Epics, and one of them in particular, Mario, and we started experimenting with using NFTs. And we managed to actually incorporate full 3D NFTs into the arcade game in Unity, and this is already 3 years ago. So since then we've just been building and planning, and the whole we call the universe the Enemy Metal Adventure, and it's just been expanding since then. We've really planned out a whole player-based economy. We want the players to take a part of our success. So, if you get involved now in the foundation stage, immediately you have a choice. You buy a pack of cards, you can keep that pack of cards and just hold it. And then you'll be free to sell it in the future. And there's some limited edition and exclusive cards as well that will only be available in this initial pack. But yeah, we're looking forward to expanding it one step at a time and just building the players into something to ultimately take us to this really awesome arcade game that, as I say, has been in the works for 3 years already. And we can't wait to share it all with you guys.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you about Epics. So Epics and Enemy Metal are two separate things, right? So Enemy Metal's under Epics. So you're not really behind Epics itself. Is that what I'm understanding?
I am in fact involved with Epics. We started out as Enemy Metal came to them as we'd say maybe a client. Epics originally was called Pixios, and they were working also with NFTs for a long time now. Originally on the EOS blockchain, but like I said, very experienced team. And we've slowly but surely sort of worked together more and more, and our paths kind of aligned into what we're doing. And at this stage, it is a case of I am helping out with some of the Epics, the overall view of what they're trying to accomplish. So definitely, they seem, Epics, Enemy Metal on the surface is an Epics release. You could say that they're the publisher, but the truth is we're very much aligned, and Enemy Metal is very much a part of Epics and vice versa. At this point, we've really worked hard to make like a gamified system. It's something really different. Not just cards.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a whole universe.
Yeah, I really like the concept, and I think arcade kind of throws it off here. Because when I hear arcade, I'm like, okay, you know, like 2D game, like type of machine, 2D
Yeah,
arcade. Obviously, arcades have evolved. This one looks
yeah,
like an adventure, right? Like a little
a
adventure
hundred
that
percent. Yeah.
looks a little bit more crisp. Now, let me.
Um.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Well, yeah, the arcade game is. I just wanted to say, it's definitely inspired by the games that I used to play. When I was young, it was arcade games,
Hmm.
and we had things like Slap Fight and 1942 Raiden. These kind of top-down view. And in my imagination, it always upset me that you were always going forward and straight, and you could never, turn around and explore and see what was going on. So and I figured this, the more I thought about it, working on a sphere would be something like really unique, because it meant there would be nowhere to camp. If you had a multiplayer battle, all of a sudden you would have to run, but you'd be running into somebody else. It's
Right.
so so to try and then I kind of reverse engineered it all the way back down. So with, like I say, modern day physics, and physics systems, and lighting, and all the effects that we can do these days, and then went backwards to try and achieve that original, uh, you know, like top down feel of the game.
Okay.
Keep the action smooth, not too jarring. Sometimes space shooters can make you a bit dizzy. So it's just a nice, easy, smooth motion, and yeah. So I'll be sharing. We'll be sharing some of the
The
exclusive
footage.
footage in this video. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the first time anybody will be seeing this footage.
Absolutely.
A little sneak
I
peek.
will be overlaying it probably at the beginning of this video as well, like snippets, and then drop it somewhere in the video. Now, let me ask you a question. Before we get into the actual gameplay, how it's the mechanics gonna work, the sale, why flow blockchain, all of those good questions, right? How many people are working behind Epics right now and behind this game, and what are the positions? Because some people are, their risk tolerance is a little bit more, some of them are less. Some of the people like to get into games knowing the developer, but there are some games out there that do make it and the developers stay on the low. But I like to know who the people behind it are.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, Epix has grown really substantially in the last few months. There are now more than 20 people in about 10 different countries around the world. So we're
wow.
literally working around the clock on Enemy Metal and the other projects. Um, the staff are very flexible. So we have some blockchain developers, the front end, back end payment guys, the designers, 3D modelers, and animators, and then of course the business side. We're committed to being, we're an American-based company, so of course regulation is a part of our business. We
Right.
we have to we want to keep everything above board 100%. And yeah. So like let me just explain a little bit about sort of the flow blockchain came about.
Hmm.
We were blessed to get a chance to meet with them, and of course they're the creators of CryptoKitties, so they created the NFTs in the first place. So when we had the chance to speak to them, of course we were very excited, and they just provided a level of support that we haven't had from any other blockchain. Um, we had immediate direct connection with the developers, and in fact, our developers are even helping to improve and bug test the Flow blockchain itself.
Yeah.
Um, and as I say, these guys have been working for 3 years now on NFTs, so we're very well experienced. We're putting in some new technology that people haven't seen before. On Flow, especially,
Mhm.
the packs will be sealed, so immediately gives the player the choice to buy and sell those packs, or hold them for the future where you can buy and sell them. Um, and then of course open them and collect for the next phases. Um, and we're building an entire player-driven economy. So before the arcade game gets released, um, players will have the first phase, which is foundation and the initial card sale. followed by the construction phase where people will be able to upgrade and build mines and starports. And then finally the mining phase where those mines and starports will actually start to create NFTs. And that will then lead into the Starship Factory. And the Starship Factory is where things really start getting special. And that's where players are building the parts to build the starships that will be used in the arcade game. And
Oh, okay,
as I
okay.
say,
I
all
like
of
that.
these, all of the resources will be generated by players and their minds,
Okay.
ultimately.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, and
Very
just
interesting.
we want to ignite the secondary market and really make it a player on player economy, and then once that circle is complete, the arcade game will be ready to launch, and it's really been my dream to always launch a free to play game. So there will be starships and things that are super expensive, I have no doubt, but they will actually be built by the players. So it's something where the more successful we are, the more successful you as a player or collector are.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Now let's break it down here for the people. Now the packs that I have seen are $20 packs. Those are the basic ones. I know there's three
Yes.
types of packs. Now, what are the prices for the next packs? And when is this gonna
So
happen? And what's the process? Okay, we buy them, and can we open them right away? Can we sell them right away? Is it going to be available? Are we going to have to keep them for a while until you guys implement? What's the process there, right?
So what we're going to do is you will be able to unseal and open your packs right away. And the secondary market will be launched very shortly after our initial launch. We've built it and it's in internal testing already. So we don't want to launch simultaneously with the card sale just to keep things. We'd like to roll out in phases,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure 100% sure that everything's perfectly tested. But the secondary market is built and it will be implemented very soon after. The construction phase will take a little
Longer.
while. We'll have to, yeah, we will try and it's not a matter of years. It's a matter of weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
We are, as I say, all of this stuff is in our back end already being built for the next phases.
Absolutely. And
Um,
what about the pricing of these cards?
So the pricing, we wanted the basic pack to be, a reasonable price that everybody can get involved. But it is very important that we keep the value of the mines higher, so that we don't devalue the cards. Um, so the gold pack will be $100, and the diamond pack will be $250.
Okay.
Um,
And
and
what would
and
the gold pack give you? And what would the what's it? Platinum? You said.
the diamond,
Diamond. I'm sorry. Yeah, the diamond.
yeah.
What is it in there? What is in there that is
It's mainly the rarity,
okay?
and ultimately what that's going to mean is in the second phase, the construction phase, you'll use silver cards to create silver mines, gold cards to create gold mines, diamond cards to create diamond mines.
Okay.
So again, it's a case of including people. It won't be too difficult or too expensive to build a silver mine, and you'll be able to mint NFTs. But if you're able to build a diamond mine, that'll give you a chance of actually minting diamond cards.
Okay.
So it's a tiered thing that's designed to include as many people as possible, but still have something there for the people that can afford to support us. That they will be able to build these larger, more profitable mines.
Okay. And let's go to the gameplay itself that we have seen. We have seen a few worlds, right, where you can actually explore and you can kill NPCs. And are those the mines, or are those worlds made by you guys? What is the difference there? Because I've seen games. Here's where I'm coming from, because it might be confusing to me. There's games where the mine itself is the map, right? So that's your mine, right? And it has a certain amount of resources, and you can let players into your kind of map and also mine for a percentage of resources they have to pay in, or extract. When they extract, you take a percentage of those resources by letting them into your mine. I've seen those type of games. So when you say mines, is that something that is outside of the world, or do you build it?
In this, the mines are actually NFTs. So
Mhm.
all of our assets will be like freely tradable NFTs, and that is part of the game that again, we want it to be accessible. So most of the trading, the upgrading, the crafting systems, all of that will be on the web, accessible from mobile.
Mhm.
The arcade game is still it's very fast, very stable, lots of fun to play, but there's a lot of back end that needs to be built there, especially as we really want it to be a multiplayer game. And to make it fair, there's a lot of challenges around fairness, especially with blockchain games. A lot of the time, these economies are very fragile. So we want to make sure that it's something we can build that's sustainable. And that is going to take a little bit of time for us to launch.
Right, but
So
but the arcade and the mine, they come into play
the
together.
yes, exactly. The mines are part of the NFT system, as I say, the
Right.
NFT generation system. So the mines will start generating parts for the Starship factory, and the Starship factory will be used to build the starships that you can use to then explore the planets.
Okay. Now I'm
Okay,
understanding a little bit better, because I
built.
thought
Yeah.
within the world you would be able to mine inside the actual worlds and extract resources from those worlds.
That is something we'd like to achieve, but
Mm.
it is a very complicated process, especially just as I say in terms of fairness, bots. There's a lot of issues that we need to, a few
Tackle.
challenges that we need to solve. Yeah, and we really want it to be fair and fun for everybody. So we will get there, but there's a few more hurdles to get through to make that happen.
Absolutely. I can
Mm.
understand that. I seen so many games now that it's like there's so much. You would think like everything is so easy. Yeah, decentralized. Oh my God. Yeah, that's just not. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. I think there's a lot of challenges, especially depending on the genre and everything. Everything changes depending on the genre, the community, what the community wants. Everything is just it's a big hurdle. The whole thing, the whole wazoo. But so
100%.
so so when is the first sale? Um,
So the
it's
first sale
August
starts on August 4th.
August 4th. Okay, and
Yeah.
is that gonna be because I never use Flow. So I know we can
Mm.
use a wallet. Now, are these NFTs living in your wallet, or are they gonna live right? Are they gonna
What
live in the game? Like, how does that work? Because an NFT should live on your wallet, right?
Yes, it does. We are building a system like Flow has. It's still in its infancy in a lot of ways. It's only a few months old as a blockchain, so the wallets and everything are still being developed, and we will support the wallets more as we progress. Um, right now, you'll be able to connect the Blockto wallet to your account. That's
Okay.
Blockto is the Flow wallet. And we're also looking at it at the moment. It's not 100% secure, so we will ultimately be able to log into your account using a wallet as well. But as I say, we will develop all the systems as the blockchain and the wallets start
Progress.
coming out. We'll support more and more. And we've built payment systems to include everybody as well. So we will accept credit cards, Google Pay, Apple Pay.
Yeah.
We've got
Quick
a very
onboarding.
100%, and we have a very developed, very organized back end team. They're highly highly efficient, and they've done some amazing stuff. So we do have a very smooth system, and yeah, inclusive as possible. Like that's the enemy metal way, is to just try and include as many people. Everybody that wants to get involved should be able to without any particular special knowledge.
Interesting, interesting. Now, this first sale, I call it first. Is it the first or the only one?
It's the first one.
Okay.
We will do a drop with each phase.
Hmm.
So there is a case of yeah, I think with so the foundation will be the first one. Construction will be where you can upgrade. So that will be another drop as well. We'll be including new cards in that one and removing some cards as well. So there are certain cards, most especially the enemy cards, the ones involving our alien attackers. So the Arcana and the enemy and the Sunstar, the three cards that are exclusive to Foundation. So to build a mine on Arcana or to build enemy starships, you'll have to get involved now, or buy those cards from the marketplace in the future.
Okay, and for the arcade, how many worlds are we going to be able to explore to begin with in the future? Are you guys going to expand worlds, like different realms where we can actually fight the NPCs, because my understanding is that these worlds are, spherical, so you're like
Yes.
going, right, and you're exploring this world. What's the end game here? Is there a boss at the end? Is there some type of end game, or is it just kill all NPCs on every world? And
It does, yeah, it does scale in difficulty. And as I say, the what we're trying to build now is the back end for the networking, so that ultimately we can get to a multiplayer maps, which I believe is like just something absolutely brand new. Taking those old arcade style games and bringing it into the multiplayer world is the long term goal for us. And I think that'll make it really special. But totally, there will be bosses, a lot of little Easter eggs.
okay, okay,
You know, the yeah, it's a lot of fun to play. Already, the system is pretty solid. There's like I said, a lot to get done still, but we're very happy with the results we've achieved. It's very smart, very fast, very stable. Um,
okay. Now, let me ask you something a little bit outside of the game here, because you
yeah.
seem well versed in the industry, right? You're
Mm.
obviously building a game, and I guess this is the first time I actually ask, somebody from a game to give me a perspective on the industry. But I think I have a pretty good perspective of where this is going, time frames. Um, How do you see blockchain games, NFT games? What is the roadmap here? Because people are obviously asking, AAA games, wait until they come. They're gonna take over. Blah blah blah. And I partly agree with them, but the incentive is not there for them to come in. There's a lot of hurdles. It's almost like we're doing the dirty work. They'll come after with the money, right? Type of thing. Um,
100%. I think there's a lot of we're used to looking at these AAA games as the leaders in things, and I think to me, blockchain is the leveling field. Blockchain is the way that maybe not right now, because what we have to do for enemy metal is, it's pretty intense. We're really having to program some things that have never been done before. But I see this in 10 years' time as being any guy can just open up the Unity engine, build a game, load a library in, and they're on the blockchains, connected with NFTs. That's I believe the future, and I think that will change things dramatically. Small teams will be able to compete in many ways with the bigger guys, just purely because the players are directly involved in the economy.
Absolutely.
Um, the AAA guys will be chasing profits, as they do.
Hmm.
And we've seen that some of the great game companies of the past are not what they used to be, in terms of looking after their clients. So I think this leaves an opening for, yeah, as I say, some smaller teams to really put some new perspective on things.
And it's crazy because we have come full cycle if you actually think about it. We started with games. I mean, at least I started with games with Nintendo 64, and it was cassettes, right? You would put the
Yeah,
cassette, blow, right?
100%. I
if you
was
actually
even before that. We had
right,
yeah, the tapes, yeah,
so you if you
and the
actually if you
little
actually think
cartridges.
about it, that's ownership right there. That's
Yeah,
ownership, and then you would load your save, your SD card or whatever. Not SD, it was something else at that moment. And you would put it and you would save it. And if you wanted to play with your friends with your files, with your progress, you would have to carry it, right? Like almost like you would carry a USB today, and then you would carry
100%.
it to their house. You plug it in. You put the game, and now you have the information with you, and you actually own the information. There was never
Yeah,
the game owned your information. Now with the blockchain, although the game can access that information and use it in its favor to either improve the game, to sell it, whatever, that's still gonna happen. But at least now you can actually sell information. So if I progress, if is in this case a spaceship, and I have progress in that spaceship, I leveled it up. I am selling that information. I am selling that progress that I put time into to another person. So we actually came full circle, and although we're in digital now, we're almost like back at the beginning, in a way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. And I think it's the right way to go. Like we should own what we have, Um, the centralized system, like you look at games like Diablo 2, they tried really hard to get a market going. And I just think it's, wouldn't it be incredible if you could, play a fantasy game and get a sword, sell that sword and go and buy a gun in a different game,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that the way that it should work? And that's I think what I would love to see in the future. Like I think, and not just the items in the games, because we all know the value of those, but as you say, the games themselves should be NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
Every aspect of this should be an NFT. If you own a game, why can't you sell it to somebody else? you know
Absolutely, I seen that
these
model. A few.
like this is what we believe should be the case, and enemy metal will be built that way from the word go. Like, as I say, from the pack that you can keep and sell whenever you want, to the mines that you build that you can sell whenever you want. They're always yours to keep. You can even withdraw them to a different platform if you choose. They really do belong to you, and that's, we want to build this and set an example for other gamers. And I think Epics as a platform, Enemy Metal is just the beginning. They have a lot of card pack releases coming out, but I'm hoping that we'll have a lot of games coming out as well.
Yeah, we
That
need better
ultimately
games.
this absolutely, and just a nice way for the game developers to focus on the fun part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
In my past, where I have worked in game development, we spend an incredible amount of time trying to make the CEO and the accountants happy. So a lot of the development time goes into the marketplaces and the stores, and how are we going to sell the product, how much are we going to sell them for, and if all of that is taken care of by the platform, then the game developer can really just make fun games and earn and still be able to feed his family. Like, I think that's the ultimate goal here, that developers get enough just to keep those updates coming, and players can also also benefit from the
Yeah, it's a
long-term
win. It
success.
would be a win-win situation. That's what we're looking for here.
Absolutely.
I don't mind money, right? I don't mind people making money. When
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, why did this whale buy all this?" I'm like, "Bro, that's the world we live in. What do you think? People go buy houses. You're not complaining about that, right? Or they go buy a bunch of cars. You're not complaining about. It's the same thing. If you have the money, you can buy more. You do what you can with what you got. That's basically my motto, right? Like, don't worry
Absolutely.
about it too much, right? You get to that point when the time is right, and and you'll feel the same. You're like, oh damn, now I could buy more. Now I could trade, or own more in a world. What's this game called? Eve Online. There's some massive whales there, massive whales that they
Absolutely.
so in any game it's always going to be like that. You
Yeah.
just gotta like
Star
find your way.
Citizen.
Star Citizen, yeah.
Star Citizen even more. Yeah. So yeah, these guys are out there, and but it is just about finding that balance. Like I
Mhm.
say, we just want enough development funding that we can afford the right, make enough awesome assets for the players. Make more weapons, more explosions, just more fun. Like that, it takes time, and we put a lot of love and effort into it, and you know, like game developers, really, they are willing to put their heart and soul, and pretty much the whole team is working Saturdays, Sundays, long, very long hours. Our blockchain guy gets 4 hours of sleep some nights.
That's crazy.
Um, so
I believe it because
this
I've
is,
seen it in other
yeah,
games. Yeah.
and it's passion that makes us do it. We're not being driven by hard bosses. We want to make something awesome. And to do that takes a lot. We've got to crunch sometimes, and yeah, I believe that we're at the start of something really big, and I'm really excited about it.
Hell yeah, I'm down for it. I'm gonna support you guys. I obviously, I'm trying to support the games that I can, when I can, if I like them. There's a lot of little games coming out, so it's very hard for me. But this one, I'll support it. I'll support it, and of course we're gonna have another interview next Sunday live. It's in my other channel. Um, this one is more of a broader channel in terms of NFT collectibles. My show is it's called NFT Arcade actually.
Awesome.
NFT Arcade, and we talk about NFT games. And the people behind this channel, because I run it with like two more people, they're actually well invested in Flow blockchain. They're early investors. So I'm sure we can bring you not only to my show but also to their show as well. So
Fantastic.
where can people find you? I know Twitter is, I think it's Epics on Twitter, but I'll leave the link down below.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead for it.
So what we do is we have all of the outward channels are through Epic. So Twitter, Instagram, etc. The only place where you can reach us is on Discord. So we want to just centralize the information so that we can, because it is important. The community is very important to us, and we try to take all the input that we get. And this goes right back to the beginning when I first started the arcade game. I've only had a few friends and that in the beginning testing, but every time somebody gave me input, I would try and include that, and all the people that have tested over the last 3 years each one has pretty much played their part in the way that things now actually work out. So, when we hear from people, we do listen, and we do try and incorporate suggestions, comments, and this is something we want to build for players. It's built by players for players. So, so if you want to get hold of us, that's YouTube is the place. I mean, Discord is the place.
Yeah, I'll leave the link down below for everybody. And man, thank you for this interview. I really like to. I call myself more like instead of a YouTuber, I'm like an NFT historian. We're gonna look back at all these interviews, and 5-10 years from now, we're gonna be like, wow. Like what the hell, that's
absolutely.
That's what
we were
really
there at the
for.
beginning.
Yeah, we were there. This is so early. That's another thing, that we're so early. I almost feel like we're like, I would say, like, since we're in the digital age and technology is advancing so quick, obviously things are exponential. But if we actually think about it, the time frame we're in right now is like probably 1990s to late 1990s in blockchain. And then the next, I believe that 2022 is gonna take us to the next time frame, which would be like 2000s to 2010s type of thing. And then 2023 and 2024 would be like almost 2010 to 2020. So like the comparison, so it's actually it's so exponential. I mean, I remember in 2020 games, if people are complaining about games now, I mean, Jesus, I was struggling on 2020, and I was finding my way to make videos. But this is a process. Yeah. So Yeah, I'm just looking forward.
100%.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to your success
No,
and
absolutely.
to the
Thank you so
whole
much for having me.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.